Hello, it's me, and it is my great pleasure to demonstrate slash solve this 5 by 5 by 5. Now, it's not just any old 5 by 5 by 5. This is a Traiphum product. As you recall from an unboxing, it was my birthday present. Thank you so much, Traiphum. Well, in any case, I put a challenge with this puzzle to ask what kind of a puzzle this was, because when you've defined the form that a puzzle has, it can help guide you in terms of how to solve it. So it is a 5 by 5 by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's different in that as you can turn 90 degrees over here. When you turn 90 degrees here, you shapeshift. So this is brilliantly modified so that it actually becomes a shapeshifting 5 by 5. So there's a number of people who actually got the correct answer. But when you look at this, when you look at the form of this, it actually, it moves 90 degrees here. It doesn't shapeshift or anything like that. But the second I do move like this, a shapeshifting move like this, I end up causing a process of bandaging. Let's take a look at what's been bandaged here. What's being bandaged are these pieces over here. So what this looks like, as I'm bandaging these pieces here, I'm actually converting it into a 1, 2, 3, a 3 by 3 in these layers over here. So really what this has become is this has all of the properties of a floppy. And the reason that I say that is because, like a floppy, you have 90-degree turns over here. It shapeshifts in this direction, and it's the bandaging that really shows its floppy characteristics. That if this acts more like a 3 by 3 with these bandaged here, then this has exactly the same form as a 5 by 5 by 3 if these were sort of rolled into here. So when I'm doing shapeshifting, this little segment here gets rolled into this over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically what I have is a 3 by 5 by 5. Well, a 3 by 5 by 5 plus. And the plus is the fact that I have these extra layers that I deal with. So what this really means is that the solve of this would have a floppy characteristic, which means it probably has a floppy parity. I'd solve it like a 3 by 5 by 5, and then deal with these layers over here cuboid style. But why talk about it? Let's just show it. So going through some of the motion here, and like all Traiphum products, the movement of this is perfect, pretty incredible, seamless. Basically what you could have done is maybe shave this part down, glued it onto here, shave this part, glued this down to here, and you'd have a perfectly good 5 by 3 by 5 by 5. So just do a bunch of non-shape-shifting moves over here. Try to get as good a scramble as possible, and to make sure that I'm not cutting any corners with this. Turn, 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 turn. Okay, now that I think that we've mixed and matched this up pretty well, separated out various layers here, we can start doing my favorite part, which is shape-shifting. So we can maybe move this over here, move maybe a center over here, do 2 here so I can still retain this. Now, I like to do these kind of shape-shifting turns first so that I can retain as much motion as possible. Maybe turn this over here. Now that I've done that, I can continue the full shape-shifting portion of it. Now, as you can see, as I'm doing this, like all floppies or shapeshifters, I'm now turning this into the puzzle of the lowest common denominator. And if this shapeshifting 5 by 5 actually has the form of a 3 by 5 by 5 in terms of its functionality, I'm basically converting this into a 3 by 3. So notice all moves, like all of these are bandaged together. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to continue doing this. So, as not to take away any traditions, abracadabra. Okay, this has a very unique look to it in its scrambled form. You've got these pieces that seem to come out of nowhere, but don't panic. We can get through it. Anyway, all these centers are pretty well defined, even the ones that are sticking up over here, because it is an odd layered puzzle. So we're going to solve it as such. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solve the tops and the bottoms, get my cross, and do all that. So let's get on with it. Here's the orange and yellow. So I'm going to find that center over here, which is down up here. The first step that I'm doing here is I'm treating it like a 3 by 3, and I'm getting the cross. So here's this over here. So again, this is my 3x3 solve. Here's the yellow and red lined up with the center here. So even if you've never solved this puzzle before, never seen it before, you can have a pretty good idea of how to solve it. Here's the other yellow and blue. I'm just looking for the yellow and green, which is right over here. Turn and turn. So strict 3x3 solves here. And I'm going to put the corner in. Now understand the reason for my 3x3 solve is to free up all the layers so I can start putting in the centers appropriately. So red, yellow, and blue. Right over here it would appear. All right, we like it. Let's move this down here. Red, yellow, and green. Or orange and green rather. Turn, turn, and turn. So we're good here. We're good here. We like this a lot. And now we just put in the next one. If I can find it right over here. Here's the other yellow here. And up. So here's actually our first side, complete with cross. We ignore all these for now. That's going to come in later as we're getting edge reduction. So for the top part, anything that isn't white belongs down here somewhere. So this one, found one. Green and red, line this up with its center here, red, and green comes down here. So we do our familiar algorithm that puts this to here. UI, LI, U, L, U, F, UI, FI, and there it is. What else we've got? We've got this one here. This simply goes here. Same thing. Turn, 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 and here we go. All right. Orange and green comes down to here. So we are all old hats at this now. The floppy solve is not a mystery to us. And this is all good. Now, when first getting this puzzle, I wasn't really sure how exactly the solution was going to work. Now I'm going to flip this around. So sort of took it at faith that it was going to work. And this comes across here, turn. I'm ignoring these small layers right now. These small layers have no independent function by themselves, but now I have freed this one up. I free this layer over here to do as I please later on. But in any case, I have my skeletal middle layer over here, so we're going to get the top. We have our line here, white and white, so these have to be flipped for an F, R, U, R, I, U, I, F, I. So we have our cross here. Now we don't have to go all the way with this, simply because I'm not trying to solve it at this point. I'm just trying to free up layers. But in any case, just for the sake of consistency, R, U, R, I, U, R to U, R, I. Okay, so this is good, this is good, this is good. Now, corners. See if we can find one that's already in, and none such exists. So to permute these around, whoop, U, R, U, I, L, I, U, R, I, U, I, L. So what do we like? Well, here's my contention. We could keep going with the 3x3 solve, but we don't really have to. We don't really have to because these are all down. And that's going to come later. So I think I'm going to stop with that. If I really wanted to continue with the 3x3 solve, of course, I'd find the one that's in appropriately, which is this. Then I do the same thing, which will permute these around. Then I do the RIDIRD. I'm going to stop with that because that's really not necessary. I already have what I wanted. I've got all these sides down and these sides down here. So now that I've freed up this side here and this side here, what I want to do now is I want to start putting in centers. Now, the best way to free up all the areas so that I can do the centers is to move these down with that old famous Red Bull algorithm. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, in this particular situation, I didn't end up with anything poking up at right angles. But you know from previous tutorials, if you've been following those, it's easy to swap those using corner swaps. But I'm going to move these down for the purposes of freeing up all the edges here. So that's going to be 2R, 2B, 2 U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. Okay, so as you can see, we just have one center that has to be placed, and it has to be placed over here. We also have to make sure that all of these centers have the proper pieces. That's either the one that belongs here or the one that goes 180 degrees off from it, so all that's fine. To move this down, what I want to do first is this has to come into this empty set. However, I have to be careful because I'm going to be putting, if I knock this down, I put this into the empty set, but now I put 2 up. I just put 1 up and create one other empty set. So I'm going to be chasing my tail, so to speak. But why make things difficult? Let's do it a little different this time. This just needs to move down to here. So why don't I go like turn to create this side here. Move it out of the way. Turn, bring it back, turn this up, bring it across, turn it in, bring it down. Okay, that worked. Why not? Why didn't I always do it that way? Well, live and learn, I suppose. Anyway, so now I've got it back to the cuboid form. I was basically making use of the fact that I can move it in any direction, and it was a slightly different way than I usually do it. So now I'm going to want to get these centers in and get these centers in. Just so happens I can easily do it like this. Bang. What about this? Well, let's take this, take this blue, move it into the blue over here. Still creates this one that's out. This is one that's out. And I've got these that are one that's out. Move it over here and turn, and no problems. So a little bit refining of my floppy techniques, but hey, why not? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to get all of these centers here. So now I'm going to get all of these centers here. I can't stop with this, unlike the other floppies. I have to continue. So why don't we try with the red? So I'm going to use this as my workspace, so to speak, and put this red into here. And maybe I can do more than just that. Maybe I can move this over here too, and take this red piece and move it here as well. All right. So I'm just doing a bunch of setups. So I got these 2 reds just opposite this. Pow, that's in. Okay, move this to the side. Same thing with this. Okay, now before I move this back, is there something else that I can put in? Well, this green is in. How about a yellow, or an orange rather? This orange can come to here, so I'm just going to go pow. And that way I can go like this. Okay, so at the end of the day, I now have all my reds in. And maybe I can work on yellows now. So I'll use this as a workspace. Move this out of the way. So I'm just going to do oranges now. Here's an orange in the middle. I think I want to do that one first. So I'm just doing back and forth. I'm going kind of fast with this. If this gets mass produced and more people want more details, I will go slower. Now what I'm going to do is move this center into here. So double turn. All right, so far so good. Now I want to move this one in and double turn. Now what I'm doing is I'm not paying any attention to what's happening with this center. As long as we're oriented with these 1x3 bars in the same direction, we're going to be able to get this back. So now I'm going to move this out of the way here. Turn, and we'll just get this back now, just to orient ourselves. So this is in, I need to put these guys in here. So how am I going to do that? Well, I've got a couple of complementary areas here. This is already in. So I'm going to want to put, say, this one in. Try to find the blue that belongs here. So this can come into here. Now, we know from our strategies that to get this into here, I don't want to destroy this. So what I'm going to want to do is put complementary layers. This blue is going to come over to here and everything will be fine. This green is going to risk being disrupted, but as long as I have this green over here, this is going to be protected. So I'm not even going to do my whole flipping over thing where I'm putting complementary layers, say an orange here and an orange here. Instead, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go like this, brings this in. But this is already fine because I had another green one here, so we're good. The last thing I need to get is this side, and they're complementary to each other. So now what I need to do, if I want to make that happen, is I do need to move this out of the way and put, say, an orange, and then I need to put a complementary orange down here so that I don't mess up the oranges. So that's what I'm going to do. Take this out, move this like so, replace it with an orange, just like this. Now, in order to not destroy the orange when I do a double turn like this, I have to make sure another orange is down here. So I'm just going to move that in, turn, and across. Again, I'm moving fast because a lot of these strategies have been discussed. Now this has to get out of there. What I want to do is I want to just move these, the ones that have to be moved in the right place. I like this over here because this empty set or this wrong one can coincide with this. I just need to move this one up to here so it's occupying that space over here. To make that happen, let's double turn this to put it out of the way, move this in so this can occupy it, substitute it, and move it back. Okay? So now we're postured to go ahead and swing this around. This orange is complementary with this. This blue will come here, this green will come here, and nobody will get hurt. Double turn, and look at that. In, everything is in. So what I'm going to do is just place all my centers. This red is already in. I need to put the other orange one here. Turn, turn, turn. This is okay. And now put the green one here. Double turn. Move it here, and move it back. Okay, so we have all of our centers. Now what we want to do is we want to do edge placement. Edge placement, we can start off with, well, that's already almost in here. So why don't we go ahead and start off with putting the orange one in. Where's the other orange? Right over here, so I'm just going to turn this over here. Once again, I'm using the concept that this is my workspace. I'm going to solve to here and then move it out of the way on both sides. So this is going to come across here. Now the thing about my workspace is as long as I maintain the right orientation, this can go back and forth really, as long as the 1x3 bars are facing the right direction. This is all in, so I'm going to bump this out of the way. Move it out of the way, turn it around so that it's safely tucked down here, and then move this back. Okay, now instead of just moving this back, let's see if maybe I can put another edge in. In this case, I've got two reds that are almost in here, so why don't I work on that? Where's the other red? It's right here. So I'm just going to double turn this like so, and move this across here. Again, I'm not worried about any of this. So now I've got the reds. What I'll do is I'll take this red and put it with this orange in this space over here. So move it here, bumping out the orange, double turn, bring the orange on back. So now I've got these two. So what else? Well, I've got two blues and an orange over here. Find the other blue, yellow rather, orange. Where is the other blue? Right over here. So this, I'm going to move to here. So remember, just to keep, if you want to move this without destroying something else, move it in, double turn it out of the way, and move this piece back. So now I've got this here, double turn this here, and turn it in. So now I've got this. I have one more to go. I can't move it to this side, but I can move it to this side. So move it in, double turn so that this gets moved back. So what do we have left? We've got the greens, two over here. So this is going to come up to match this. Turn here, double turn, there we got it, move it out of the way. This solve that I'm doing is exactly like the 3x5x5, nothing new. Now that I've done that, let's just get my center back here. So what I'm going to do is take this orange. Now anytime you want to coordinate a center here with these or this with the center here, is this yellow, I'm going to move into the yellow spot here. The reason I do that is because this maintains this configuration of 1 out, 2 in, 1 out, 2 in, and it matches it up with these, 1 out, 2 in. So all I have to do is find where they match and just move it back. Okay, the end result is I have the yellow edges placed. I'm just going to match them up to their respective places. Move this here, blues come here. Okay, so I have my cross up here. Now we finish edge placement by doing the white edges. Now understand that this is where we have the least amount of variability. So we're going to pick it up from here as we're getting the white edge placement. We see that there's 2 that are here, and up we see 2 here. So as predicted, we have the floppy parity. Even though it might not look like a floppy, it is a floppy. So we're going to deal with this in the technique that we were talking about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 areas that don't have the corners in, these corners here, and put them opposite each other so we can do our fancy swapping. So let's go ahead and swap these 2 and see what happens. 2RU, 2RU, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. Okay, so basically, just to refresh your memory, this is going to have to come here, this is going to have to come here. So we're going to use our technique to do that. 3 Red Bulls away from the solution. So we've got 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. Okay, so it lifted these 2 up and swapped them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, double turn it, and then move this across here. 1 more Red Bull and these guys will swap. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. Okay, once we do that, now we just pull this one forward, pull this one through. And now as you can see, these are the same, and now we're gonna just move these down. Once more, 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. And then we just double turn this. Part of the reasons why I want to demonstrate this is to show you just how good this motion is. I mean, the craftsmanship, of course, is excellent. So we got that back, but we threw a couple things off, like these 2. We can easily put this back in. I'm going to move this over here. These 2 are going to move into here. So I'm just going to reconstitute my centers. And inevitably, after doing this, you're going to have to do that. But we did get this here, so we have all of our corner parts of our edges in. So I'm going to take these 2, move it into here. Cur splat. We've made this 1 by 3 bar. Move it to the side. Bump it out of the way. And now we just reconstitute things. Move this back. Take these layers here back. Move this here and bang. So we end up getting this back. But we're not exactly done yet. Might as well put this back. We have a couple of other things that got a little bit blown off course. You can see that these 2 got exchanged. So I'm just going to move these back in. A little unanticipated process with this. Also, notice we'll put these back in here too. These centers here. So I'm going to move this to here, double turn, move it here, and turn back. Okay, now these also got messed up. These 2. So what I'm going to do to put those back in is I'm actually going to just do a parity type algorithm. I'm going to move it over here for the time being, and I'm going to put these centerpieces where they're supposed to be. Then I'm just going to swap these 2 with 180-degree algorithms. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, to R, to U. By doing it this way, I didn't cause any right angle problems. I did cause it over here, but no worries. To U, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U. Okay, so all these bars are once again put back in. I can move this over here, and we just have but to move these guys back. So double turn here, 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 and here. Okay, so I'm doing this a slightly different way, mostly because I want to just demonstrate the motion of this. And double turn. Okay, so just like a 3x5x5, but with areas over here that have to be dealt with. So now what I have is I'm bringing this back to a cuboid form. I'm not going to worry about the exact positioning of these yet. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the rest in cuboid style. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my middle membrane over here. That's really what this is. So I see these two need to be swapped, and these two need to be swapped, so that's easy enough. Go like this, then 1, 2, and go like this. 1, 2. All too easy. So now that's in over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to treat these like various 3x2 puzzles. So blue and orange, find one here, not there, and we don't have one up on this level. That's going to fit orange and green right over here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, so now this is in. I did create placement parity here. So I'm just going to keep moving from here. Green and red. And don't have it there yet, so move along. Red and blue. Right over here. 2R, and I'm just going to move this layer over here. U, 2R, UI, 2R. All right, all placement parity was dealt with at that point. Okay, so this is good, this is good. Well, I need green and red. Must be up here now, so it's over here. This is the right configuration, as it'll flip. That's going to be 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So we're good over here, and the bottom layer is almost done. Blue and yellow, orange rather, right over here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, and we're good. Okay, now we're going to do the top layer here. So we have these two corners in, move this over here, and now I need to do a corner swap. I know red is here. Why do I know? Because of the law of the cubes. Here it is here. So what I'm going to do is do a corner swap to exchange these two. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, DI, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. This gets moved back. So all of the corner portion should be in, so now it's just a matter of middle swaps. Okay, moving on, we're going to go ahead and swap these two. 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, now we just have these two here. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. All right, simple enough. Okay, so we have this in, but we do have placement parity here. I'm just going to ignore that in this case for now and just start working on the top and the bottom. Orange and green goes right here. 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. We're good. Kind of shifts the placement parity a little bit here, but we're not worried. Red and blue. 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. So we're getting there. This one just needs to be lifted out because it doesn't really belong here. So 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. And I'll put this in the proper place here. 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. And finally, for this bottom layer, 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. So the bottom layer is done. How about the top layer? Well, these two edges are in. I'm going to keep this oriented with this placement parity to the right. And I'm just going to do the swapping. Green is over here. 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. Turn, turn. 2RUI, 2RU, 2R. This is turned back. So all corners are in. It's just a question of swapping. 2R, to U, to R, to U, to R, to U. Now this turn to R, to U, to R, to U, to R, to U. Okay. So we just have parity here, easily fixed. I don't know if I call it parity, but placement issues here. So to U, to R, to F, to U, to F, to R, to U, and there you have it. The shape-shifting 5x5 demonstration. I kind of whipped through it a little fast because I just wanted you guys to see just how well made this puzzle is. Very playable, very solvable, very movable, very fun. Once again, Traiphum, thanks for the hours of entertainment. More to come. Thanks for watching.